We've seen this before, haven't we? Big signings, big names, big expectations. And then, 7 games in, disaster. The offense collapsed, the play calling was a mess, the defense was gassed from carrying the team, and most importantly, the offensive line couldn't protect anyone. And that, my friends, is the biggest question heading into 2025. Can the Bears fix the O-line? Because let's be real, it doesn't matter how good Caleb Williams is if he's running for his life on every snap. It doesn't matter how good DJ Moore is if Williams doesn't have time to get him the ball. It doesn't matter how great Ben Johnson's play calling is if the guys up front can't hold their blocks. Look at what happened in 2024. The offensive line was a mess. Braxton Jones struggled at left tackle. The interior line was inconsistent, and while Darnell Wright held his own at right tackle, it wasn't enough. The Bears need a serious upgrade, and they know it. That's why free agency in the draft will be huge. They have the cap space, they have draft picks, they have the ability to go get a franchise left tackle. Will they do it? That's the million-dollar question. There are top-tier offensive linemen available in free agency and some intriguing names in the draft. The Bears need to invest in a dominant left tackle, a solid interior lineman, and possibly even more depth. Because let's face it, injuries happen, and having reliable backups can make or break a season. And speaking of injuries, depth will be critical for this team. Too many times, teams stack their starting lineups only to see injuries derail their season. The Bears need to build a roster that can withstand a long and brutal NFL season. Smart teams don't just think about their starters, they build strong second units that can step up when needed. Depth at offensive line, wide receiver, and even backup quarterback could make all the difference. But let's talk about the other X factor, the defense. Because here's the thing, Chicago's defense wasn't bad last year. In fact, it was one of the only reasons they were competitive. The addition of Montez Sweat mid-season gave the pass rush a much-needed boost. Jalen Johnson played like a true lockdown corner. Jaquan Brisker continues to be an emerging star at safety, but they need more. They need that dominant pass rusher. They need a true game wrecker on the defensive line. Because in today's NFL, you need a pass rush to win. If you don't believe me, just look at the teams that made deep playoff runs. The 49ers, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, they all have elite defensive fronts. And the Bears? They're still a step behind. They need to find that missing piece, a disruptive force who can change the game in an instant. And let's be honest, this division is tough. The Lions are still a problem. They've got Jared Goff playing the best football of his career. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a nightmare to cover. And let's not forget they have a stacked offensive line. The Packers aren't going anywhere either. Jordan Love looks like the real deal, and Green Bay always seems to reload instead of rebuild. And don't forget about the Vikings. If the Bears want to compete, they need to bring the heat on defense. But history has shown us that the Bears have been here before. Think back to the Jay Cutler era. Big expectations, top-tier weapons like Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey, but an offensive line that couldn't keep Cutler upright. The result? Disappointment. Or how about 2018? That legendary defense led by Khalil Mack, a 12-4 record and a double doink away from a playoff run. But the offense never caught up, and the window slammed shut. Even further back, in the early 2000s, the Bears had dominant defenses, but could never find stability at quarterback, whether it was Rex Grossman in 2006, leading a team to a Super Bowl despite an inconsistent offense, or the cycle of quarterbacks in the Lovie Smith era. The Bears have often built teams that were one step away, but could never quite get over the hump. Talent isn't enough. It has to be built the right way. The Bears have always been known for their defensive identity, but in today's league, you need to have balance. The days of winning 13-10 games are mostly gone. You need to be able to put up points. You need to be able to stretch the field. And you need a quarterback who can go toe-to-toe with the best in the game. That's where Caleb Williams comes in. The Bears are betting big on him. He has all the tools to be a franchise quarterback, big arm, mobility, playmaking ability, but he's still a young player. He's still learning, and he'll need the right system, the right coaching, and the right supporting cast to thrive. That's why Ben Johnson is so important. He's not just here to call plays. He's here to develop Caleb Williams. He's here to build an offense that puts him in a position to succeed. Look at what he did with Jared Goff in Detroit. He turned Goff from a cast-off into a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback again. If he can do that with Goff, what can he do with a talent like Williams? So here's where we stand. The Bears are loaded with talent. They have a smart new coach. They have a promising young QB. They have weapons. But they also have a history of falling short when it matters most. So the question is, will this time be different? We're all waiting to find out.